So why are we here, Alex?
See Jeff's Mustang collection.
We made it to Scottsdale.
We're in Scottsdale, beautiful Scottsdale. The weather's fantastic. So, in my opinion, one of the top Mustang guys in the country is Mr. Jeff Catlin. We're here to see his private collection and talk about Mustangs.
Let's do it.
And not only 65 to 70, he's a Fox Body guy, SN95 guy, and a Shelby guy. And there he is.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, sir?
Good to see you. Been forever.
It's been a while.
Darling. How are you? How are you? Dave, how are you, man?
Bud.
Good to see you again.
See you.
Alex Bowling.
Alex, nice to meet you, man.
Nice meeting you.
Well, thanks for having us.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome to Casa de Catlin, my little home away from home. So, found this place tucked away back here, and it had a little shop in the back. I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So you actually work on your cars back here?
Yeah, this has been. I mean, I've had Catman Motorsports, and then it turned into like Catlin Customs back in the day. But this place, just to have it at the house, is perfect. And it's not that big. I can only fit a couple of cars at a time. Some of them are mine, some of them aren't lately. There's been a lot of customer stuff going on, but this is perfect right here. And I can just come out and work it. If I want to get up in the middle of the night and go to work, I can work. If I'm, my dog comes out and hangs out, my wife comes out, drinks wine, and sits and listens to me. So,
Bleep.
Yeah, but no,
Alex is allowed to work 24 hours a day if he wants to.
It's nice. It's nice to have it at the house. I didn't used to, and the expense of having a place here and all that kind of stuff is just so much nicer to have it right here at the house. So I'm getting ready to. Our parking lot is actually I just got approved and everything, so there'll be another 2,500 square foot building that'll go here.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Hopefully
Awesome.
by the end of the year. And then this operation will probably move into there. And then I think this is going to turn into, so when y'all come back, this will be guest house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that we first popped out of the car because we've had this conversation like 3 times recently. Dave and I had this morning, 64.5 to 66 Mustang coupes. The first thing you got sitting here
Yes.
is a coupe.
Yes. I've had that car I've had this car 30 years. I bought it on one of those, buy here, pay here lots back in the day. I drove by it,
Really?
it was sitting out front. It was a black coupe with a 289 2-barrel with a 3-speed.
Now, is this painted or wrapped?
It's wrapped.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
So just came back. Yep.
You knew I was going to look at you on that one.
Just came back from getting wrapped, actually 2 weeks ago. The car it was born
It
black.
looks fresh.
Yeah, born black, and it got painted probably 25 years ago. And I have bought and sold this car 4 times. And it finally came back the last time after being gone like 14 years. And my wife's like, you're never getting rid of it again. So we nicknamed it Boomerang because it keeps coming back.
I get it.
Right?
We have a few boomerang Jeeps.
Yeah. Well, I think we all have a little bit of that, but this one, I mean, there's so much history with it, with me and my friends, and this was my daily driver back when I first started out working on cars. This is how I got to work every day when it was just a basic little, run around car. And then this last time I tore it all apart to make it like, resto mod. So it's got all ride tech, all coil over. It's got a 600 horse blueprint, 427 cubic inch small block in it with a Tremec, and I mean, it's all done up. And as soon as they get all that done, then Roadster Shop comes out with a spec chassis that bolts up underneath the car. So I'm like,
I've always liked the coupes, but I mean, you and I have been buying Mustangs since the early 80s.
Yep.
And I can remember back in the day, everybody wanted a convertible.
Everybody wanted a convertible.
And then it switched, everybody had to have fastback.
Fastback. Everybody wanted fastback.
And now, I'm not saying everybody wants a coupe, but I like the coupes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a cool, iconic design. And up until about 24 months ago, they were affordable.
Yeah.
And now that's changed.
You're exactly right. 24 months ago, and now they're getting to the point where, because everything has stepped up so much. I mean, you can't touch a convertible, you can't touch a fastback for 40, 45, 50K. And these cars were always accessible, and they built so many of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've always been a coupe guy, mainly for the fact that I could afford to go and grab one and be able to do some cool stuff to it and drive it around. And then always somebody came along and was like, oh, I got to have it. And so, all right, make a couple bucks, go find another one. And now they're getting tough.
And these cars for so many years never got the appreciation that the Corvettes did in the same year.
Not at all.
Never. But it's coming.
Well, it's funny because this car I've just kept, and I can't tell you how much work I've sold off of this car.
because
just
it
driving
looks
it around.
cool.
Oh,
And just all of the things and the little things that I do for myself, you know, and just, you know, you've got your nuances. I mean, we all do. You and your
Used to be our
Jeeps and the
green
Trans Am
Scrambler.
stuff, you do things for
Green
yourself.
jacket, green
And everybody would come along and be like, oh, I gotta have that. And so I've done quite a bit. This car's done me very well, and it's just one of those things that'll never go away. And I think my youngest son, he's like, you know, oh, when the day comes and, you know, that's my car, right? And I'm like, well, you know, we'll talk about it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the coupes the market is going. And now we're getting to the point where, you know, I've got, my wife finally came to me and she's like, you know, I'm tired of you. You've never built me a car. And she's like, I want you to build me a car. And she loves this car. And she's like, I want a car like Boomerang, but not crazy horsepower. I want it to be nicer. I want it to be an automatic. I want it to be fuel injected so I can get in, just turn the key. I want the interior to be nice.
So have you found that car yet?
So it took me probably 6 months to find she wanted specifically a springtime yellow 66 coupe.
That's a pretty popular color.
Yeah, popular color, but to find one nice, now granted, we don't have to deal with the rust issue down here like, you know, some people would, but to find
Dave.
one that was nice, it took me 6 months, and I found a car in Sun City, original owner. They bought it brand new. It came out of South Dakota.
I think I see it.
Yeah, and it's sitting over there. I brought it home a few months ago. And it's going to be the next generation of Resto Mod. So I have the Roadster Shop chassis is in the
Really?
shop.
Oh,
Yep.
wow, yeah.
Okay, I want to
Yep.
see that.
And I got a Blueprint 347 with an automatic coming for it.
Stroker motor.
Yeah, and we're just gonna make this into like this super cool cruiser, but it's gonna have all the latest and greatest everything. So,
Man,
This
it's already a nice car.
well, and we were specifically looking for something that I was trying to find something I didn't have to paint, because it's the one thing for me that it's harder for me to get
That is
anything painted.
everybody's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Alex's, mine,
Right?
And
and Dave's, and that's
Oh, yeah.
why I'm not opposed to what you did to that coupe. Because what was that car gone for 2 days getting wrapped?
They took it for a week because
Okay.
we took quite a bit of the car apart so
Oh,
that we
nice.
could really
Trim and
wrap it.
stuff, yeah.
And then at the end of it all, I left it for an extra day because it really needed the windows tinted
Okay.
because they weren't tinted before. But yeah, normally the guys that do it 2 days, 3 days tops, and you get back, you know, a finished product that looks nice. And this car, the lady, her husband was a body guy, and so 2017 it was showing its age, and he took it into his little place and they took it down and sanded it and repainted it right back to springtime yellow. But other than that, this car is original interior, original trunk mats, original motor. It's a straight 6 automatic car with power steering, power brakes, and Montgomery Ward underdash air conditioning.
It looked like, I think that's the same one Sears had too.
It's Monkey Ward or J.C. Penney, or it says on there, doesn't it, Dennis? On the unit, what's it say?
J.C. Penney.
J.C. Penney.
Wow.
That was like Sears.
Yeah.
They had their own automotive section.
Yeah. So, just the fact to find one that was done in the paint job, and the fact, I mean, this car, it was in South Dakota for 2 years, and then they brought it out here, and they lived out here ever since.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it, there's not a speck of rust on it.
Is this a
anywhere.
T-code 6-cylinder?
6-cylinder, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did I know that? There's no badges on the outside. And power steering.
And power steering, which is unheard of on a 6-cylinder
Six-cylinder.
car. Yep.
And power brakes somebody's added.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to paint a car these days, and back me up on this, Dave,
Yeah.
the fastest you're going to get when I get out of a body shop is 2 or 3 months.
That's exactly
the
right.
fastest.
Well,
Yeah.
like
If it's clean.
yeah, if it was a good car.
I mean, you start with something clean. So like the Fox body. So that's an ex-highway patrol car out of Salt Lake City that I
Love
found
it.
here in Arizona. A kid had it. And when I got it, nice car, straight car, but as you know, back in the day, they had paint problems with their lighter colors and they didn't stick, and they would delam down to the sealer primer. This car, I mean, it looked like a leopard when I got it, because it was just like all these big spots of primer sticking out. And it took me, I sanded the car right here. We got it all prepped and everything, but just to be able to take it someplace to get it painted, I mean, I had to go and find somebody willing to do that. And then it was still 3 weeks, and it was already prepped and ready to paint. And then I had to bring it back here in pieces and put it all back together. But this one's a constant
Well,
work.
I mean, the notchbacks are
Oh.
really hard to buy.
hard to buy,
Really hard to buy.
and they've just continued to go, even since I bought this car, through the roof.
I wonder who messed with that market.
Yeah, I think I know who. I think I helped you.
You did.
I think I helped you.
You helped me a lot with the Fox market.
Yes, and rightfully so, because they've been, I mean, this was my high school car. I mean, this is what, in high school, I never could have one. I couldn't afford one. I had a 68 Mustang Coupe that was a ratted out piece that I drove back and forth to high school. And my buddy had one of these, and it's always something I wanted forever. And I never got one until I was probably in my 30s. I could finally afford.
Notchbacks
And then
are cool.
then it was all the saline Foxes and all of that. So
They're tough.
So this one's customer's car.
Sort of a Shelby clone.
Sort of a Shelby clone. This car was built by somebody that you and I know very well, Colin Comer.
Oh, wow.
And he built it as a car to take on the Copper State back in the day, and then it's been through a couple of different hands. And a guy that owns it now, he was out playing with it, and clutch gave out. And so I've got it in here for clutch and power steering pump, and we're going to change a couple things around just to kind of get it back going good again. But
What? So pony interior.
yeah, so it was a pony interior.
Well, see, there's
you
the
know.
shelf.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, love
So,
it.
But cool car, kind of a hybrid sort of
Hybrid
thing, a little
Shelby
bit. You
resto
know,
mod.
Shelby resto mod. You know, got I think it's got like a 406 in it, heavily cammed. You know, just cool car to take out and cruise. Still got a top loader in it.
That's
Just, you know,
an SCCA certified cage in it too.
yeah. So I think
Pretty neat
you know
car.
I think it rallied about a bit. I know he took it on. I know it's been on the Copper State at least once, from what I remember.
So
'Cause
Alex, I think we've only maybe had one of these. We've had a ton of Mustangs. Look at the radio. That is crazy rare.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what that's worth now. You do.
Putting a price on
You
something
rarely ever
like
see
that,
that.
especially if it still works.
Yeah.
I mean,
You ever seen one of those, Dave?
Very
An
rare.
8-track in a Mustang?
yeah,
That is super cool.
yeah,
That was worth the price of admission right there.
right.
I want to see the chassis. I haven't seen one up
Here.
close.
Here, and then I
I've
guess
heard a lot about them.
if
but
we
I
want to
haven't
talk about prized possessions, the only one that I don't let come outside is the one under the cover. But we'll talk about it in a second. But so, Roadster Shop spec chassis. So the whole idea is that it fits around the unibody.
seen it. Right.
So the only thing is you do take the shock towers out and you leave the bare frame rail, and then these come unbolted, and that frame rail goes right through here.
Wow.
And then that clamps around it, and that gives you your support in the front. It sits where the frame rails are to here.
I've never seen that.
That was
Yeah.
some trick
Wow.
engineering.
And then this is where like some of the seat mounts are, so you utilize some of the stuff that comes through the floor. And then in the back, so that's where the back springs would mount in the back of the car. They go up and mount through the back spring mounts. But up here, they've got these two pieces that there's some rods that roll up and into the upper shock mounts in the car, up in the floor pan.
Right.
So you put a structure up inside there, and then this has got these kind of clevis bars that go in, and then you crank them down, and it just mounts that chassis up underneath the car.
So why we're wowing on this for those of y'all out there that are not 100% into the car scene? These Mustangs are unibodies. They do not have a frame. There is no chassis. So all the pickup points are actually in the body itself. So what this is going to do for that coupe out there, this is going to drive as good as a new car.
Yeah,
It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, so full coilover adjustable 4-link with panhard bar.
That's tricky.
in the back.
Yeah, it is.
And then in the front, and now you've got the rack in the front where you'd want it to be on the car instead of being in the back. Like a lot of them would, they would adapt them. Like the one car I've got, it's got a rack in the back. So putting them in the front, this will take this car into this century, so to speak.
Yeah, it's
know?
going to be a heck of a sleeper, but it's something she can drive every day.
Yeah, so she can hop in the car, fire the thing up, away you go, but you could take it and just hop in it. You could travel in it if you wanted to.
Imagine how much time it would take to make that if you didn't do that for a living.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Well, before, so these guys had a chassis for a Mustang that was much more intricate than this, but you had to cut the entire floor out of the car.
I heard that.
Yeah, and so I worked on one like that, and you want to talk about some work. beautifully fit. Don't get me wrong, like it fit up in the car, but you had to remake everything.
That would
from the
make me so
firewall.
nervous. How do you jig the car where it won't move?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
The stuff that you're
You
doing
couldn't take
inside
a good
the
car like that because once you cut the floors out of that car
Yeah.
and you have all that movement.
So this is why. So after
That's
I
neat.
finished the blue car, this came out literally like 6 months later after I finished the blue car. And I was like, oh, and I just spent all the money on the suspension in that car. And then this comes out. And I'm like, oh, do I just tear all that stuff out? And I'm like, I just can't do it because it was so much. I put all the research and everything into that, put it together. And then this comes out and I'm like, well, I'm just going to have to build another car.
Well, that's cool. I can't wait to see this done. Now, this car I've heard about, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, so this
is your holy grail car, right?
Yeah, this is my holy grail car. And this is something that I saw this car a dozen years ago. And my buddy called me up one day and he's like, hey man, I just bought a collection off of this old boy. He's like, a lot of Mercedes, I don't know anything about them. Will you come to my place and check them out? Tell me what I got. And I'm like, so you already did the deal? He's like, yeah, I already did it. He's like, I just needed to do it. And I go over there and he's got you name it, sailing wise, from S7 to all of these speedsters, like, ones that they only made 10 cars of and everything.
Yeah, that's 71s.
And in the corner, back in the back, because he didn't want me to see it, is this car. And immediately I walk in and he's like talking about the S7 and everything. And I'm like, what's that? So when Steve decided to go racing,
Whoa.
Wow.
so in '87, they came out with the team to go and race. And they made 3 cars that year. And he went out and kicked everybody's butt and won the championship. Look at whose car this was.
Rick Titus. Wow.
So '87 they went out with 3 cars and they won the championship that year.
So this is one of 3 actual Saleen race cars.
So in total they made 8 of them.
Okay.
So they made 3 in '87, they made 3 in '88, and then they took one of the '88s and they turned it into an '89, and then they made 2 for '89. So there was 8 total. So this car is technically car number 6. So and it's tagged that way. But they had to be in stock form, right? So they ran in a class where they were stock. So it's the basic 302 and speed density still, because they could make a little better horsepower out of it. Same T5. It's got Dyno Max exhaust because it couldn't be loud. I mean, this car doesn't sound like anything. But that's they stiffened them up. Saline was allowed to put his suspension and things on them, and these guys went out and they just kicked ass. I mean,
Wow.
The Camaro of the day was no competition for these cars. And they finally, they didn't win the championship this year. They lost it by a couple of points. But in '88, this car with the 2 other team cars, for the first time since '66 in Le Mans, when Ford finished 1, 2, 3, they finished 1, 2, 3 in Mossport that year. This car was there. I've got pictures of it crossing the finish line.
So there are quite a few guys who have completed their Fox body collections, which you've helped a lot. I think I've helped quite a few of them as well.
You've helped a lot.
But they don't have one of these.
No.
This is nuts.
And what's crazy is, so there's a guy in your neck of the woods who is building a Saline museum. And as soon as I got this car, I found out that he had been trying to get it as well. And luckily, my buddy that owned this car, he told me he'd never sell it, but he did tell me if he ever did sell it, that he would give me first right. And so this museum guy approached him about buying this car, and he's like, listen, my buddy wants to buy it. So I kind of had to make a decision right then. So I bought the car, and then the museum guy came to me, and I talked to him. He came out and looked at the car. So out of the 8, I believe he owns 4 of them. So this would be number 5. And he and I, at this point, are in negotiations because he wants to have this in the worst way. And this car hasn't done anything since it came off the track in 1988 at the last race. I got the logbook. It still has the tires on it from that race. I mean, it's been serviced by, there's a guy on the East Coast, I believe it's Performance Automotive, that he's a Saline guy, and he's done some stuff with it, but it's never been anywhere since then.
So there you have it, a really cool Resto Mod coupe, an incredibly nice springtime yellow 6-cylinder car that's going to get a roaster shop chassis,
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Highway Patrol Fox body, which I absolutely love,
Yeah, I love
and
this.
a holy grail Fox body, Saline race car. So I have 2 more questions though.
Sure.
You said there might be an opportunity to see another insane collection today.
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And also, we're really hungry. Can we go to lunch?
Oh, buddy. I have a spot for you.
Okay.
Yes. So
Let's go to lunch.
We're going to go to lunch at one of my favorite places. They actually catered my 50th birthday party here. They're right down the street, and I'm going to treat you guys to something that I know you've never had before.
So you've never seen Kelsey upset in your whole life, I'm pretty sure.
No.
None of you guys.
No.
By the time I make it to Jeff, I usually know he's gonna fix my problems. So when I get to Jeff, I'm not upset anymore.
The definition of hangry.
Right here. Right?
It happens in the best of
Sorry,
times.
Kelsey, I had to do it.
It's okay. It happens. I'll accept it.
Right.
But what's Jeff gonna do? Fix it, because he's gonna take us to
That's
lunch.
what we're going to do. We're going to go to my favorite spot, Ajo Al's,
Okay.
and I'm going to treat you guys to something I know you've never had. So they have a Mexican pizza called Pizza Norteña. That is, that's all I'm going to tell you.
Let's
Because
go.
When you get it, you're going to be like, where has this been my
I'm
life?
hungry too.
Perfect.
Sign me up.
So I was listening to you, Jeff, when you said the name of this place, but it was confusing, and I'm reading it, and I still can't tell.
I'm still confused.
Ajo.
Ajo Al's.
AJO. Ajo Al's.
Okay. Ajo Al's.
This place been around.
That's kind of weird. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
And one of each of these pizzas to start off with. Okay.
Always the last one to eat.
That'll probably feed us all.
Okay, well then we'll have 2 of each of these pizzas. 2 of each of these pizzas?
Mess around.
Yeah, that's going to feed all of us, and then you're
And
going
y'all
to
can still order whatever you want.
that's enough.
Sorry.
And then, oh yeah.
So what are all these?
And then
That's a guacamole.
I sold them to another guy.
Queso dip, and that's a bean dip.
Bean dip, queso.
The queso
that's
is really good. It's really
guacamole.
good.
This stuff's really good right here.
I'm in. Thank you.
So,
Kelsey, you go first, sweetie.
Pizza's coming.
oh yeah. No,
I don't know what to prepare my palate for. It's pizza. We're at a
this is
Mexican
regular,
restaurant.
and
It's
then
a chip.
This is Pizza Norteña.
It's a really good.
This is
Yeah, it's.
the one. Right
Wow. I've
This
never
is
seen
the
anything like this.
Yeah, this is the one.
So the center ones, these are the norteñas, and then the outside ones, they're Mexican.
Yep. So,
Good luck with that.
That looks fantastic.
I told you. I told you.
on?
Alex, you sure?
On that one has shredded beef, avocado on the bottom, cheese, both American cheese, and then guac and tomatoes. And this one is just cream cheese with chicken, shredded chicken, tomatoes.
This, yes, this is the
Crazy.
one. I am telling you.
They're different. You'll like
This
them.
is the one.
Thank
They
you.
both look good.
Thank you.
Wow.
I told you guys I wasn't going to disappoint you.
Thanks for bringing us here, sir. I'll take the crispiest one.
product.
I'm always down for Mexican.
This is phenomenal.
I'm in. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Repeat for the 4th time where we are.
Ajo Al's.
Ajo Al's.
Yes.
Mexican pizza, but it is absolutely incredible. It's got shredded chicken, like some cream.
cheese, sour cream.
Oh, so good. It's nice and crispy. This one's got like shredded taco meat,
Yes. Ground beef.
some guacamole,
Yeah.
2 kinds of cheeses. It really is good.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Really good.
That was very good.
That was very unusual, but great.
See, I told you.
Thank
Right?
you.
I told you, right? I told you I wouldn't lead you astray on that.
Really, really good. Again, if you read the sign,
Ajo.
Ajo Al's.
Yes.
But it was super thin, crispy Mexican pizza.
Yes.
Best I've ever had.
That's really cool, huh?
Yeah.
I liked it. So now we're on to a
Yeah, so
collection that Jeff's been telling me about for many, many years.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody's ever filmed it, have they?
No, it's been photographed. Some of the architectural stuff too have been photographed in the place, but from the car standpoint, it's been in one magazine. That's it. So
Okay.
nobody's been in, and yeah, and you'll get to meet Mike,
Very cool.
cool guy. Yeah, he'll probably kind of he'll like blow in and blow out, like that's just how he is. But he wants to come by and say hi.
We're gonna go see some killer cars in a killer house. Let's go.
and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, all right,
a lot of
y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming in the back.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So that was a long, great, incredible day in Scottsdale. And guess what? I forgot to say, thanks for watching. Please like, tag, share, and follow. And most of all, subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next week in Scottsdale.